chapter 5 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda, Hanuman sees Sita. Apadamahartaram dataram sarvasampadam lokabhiramam Shriramam bhuyo bhuyo namamyam. Shriramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namah. Hanuman thought to himself, maybe Sita, who has her mind set on Rama and who is mourning this separation from him, will come to this garden. This Ashokavana is beautiful. Perhaps Sita's steps will lead her towards this tree. I have been told by Rama that she is extremely fond of trees and flowering shrubs and waterfalls. This garden seems to be made just for her. She is sure to find a kind of comfort in these surroundings. This river has very sweet, clear water, and most probably Sita will come here to touch the water and worship the sun at dawn. If she is alive, I am sure this is the place where she is, and I am certain that she will come to this river bank sooner or later. The garden was like Indra's Nandana or Kubera's Chaitra. It was more beautiful than any heavenly garden. In the light of the moon, the garden looked like the sky, and the flowers were like the many stars which pierced the dark night with their bright rays. It was like Kanda Madana laden with intoxicating perfume which was heavenly. He cast his eyes around, and nearby was a beautiful temple-like edifice. It had many white pillars which supported it, and it was white like the Kailasa peak. The steps leading to it were of coral, and the surface was covered with molten gold. The eyes were dazzled by the brilliance of the little lamp. The eyes were dazzled by the brilliance of the little temple. Hanuman was intrigued by it, and he looked closer. And then he saw her. He saw a woman who was like the thin crescent at the beginning of the brighter fortnight. She was extremely thin, and it was clear that she had been fasting endlessly. Sighs escaped her, and several hideous-looking Rakshasis surrounded her. She was beautiful, and her beauty had been dimmed by her sorrow like fire is hidden by the clouds of smoke enveloping it. She was draped in a crumpled piece of silk, yellow in color. Dust had found place all over her body, and she seemed not to care for it. She had spurned all ornaments. She was white like a lotus stalk which had wilted. She had been grieving for long, and she looked like the star Rohini, which had been swallowed by Angaraka. Tears were flowing from her eyes, and she was a picture of despair, this woman with the sad eyes. Thin and weak due to her incessant fasting, she looked frightened, thoughtful, and unhappy. Constant sorrow seemed to have worked havoc on her, and surrounded as she was by Rakshasis, she could not find a single soul to take pity on her. She had been forcibly parted from her dear ones, and like a deer in the midst of hounds, she looked helpless and lonely. Her hair was twisted into a single strand, and like a black snake, it trailed in her back. Meant only to be surrounded by luxury, this lovely woman had nothing but unhappiness as her constant companion. She had never known what it was to be unhappy till then, and her large eyes were still trying to understand why she was made to suffer so. Hanuman saw her and thought, this is she. This is Sita, who has been stolen from her husband by this low-minded Rakshasa. She is all that I had imagined her to be. Her face is like the moon, and her eyebrows are etched on her face. She is like a goddess who can make the surroundings glow with her radiance. Her hair is dark, and her lips are red and full. Her eyes are like the petals of the lotus, and this is Sita, born on the sacrificial grounds and discovered by her father. Dear to the entire world, this beautiful woman is seated on the bare earth like a tapaswini. Her sighs are long and frequent. Her sorrow has dimmed her beauty. Like a flame covered by smoke, her radiance is hidden by her pain. She is the image of forlorn hope, like a desire which has been frustrated, like an unfulfilled task, like fame which has been lost as a consequence of false rumors. Because she cannot go to her Rama, she is sunk in despair. This woman with eyes like those of a frightened deer is weak with fear, and her eyes can only fill with tears which drop down constantly. She should be the ornament of a harem. She should wear jewels worthy of a queen, and she is denuded of them. Pitiable indeed is she who is like the moon which is hidden behind a bank of clouds. Hanuman was looking at her, and thoughts chased each other in his mind, and he was sorely distressed at the sight of Rama's queen. He recognized her with great difficulty, since Rama had described a happy woman and this lady was a picture of woe. He was quite sure that he was looking at Sita. Rama had described several of her ornaments, and he saw them all placed on the branches of the tree which was near her. Her silk, which was now soiled and dusty, was still yellow, and he knew this was the golden yellow silk which Rama had described. He had seen a piece of it too, which had held the jewels which she had thrown down at them at Rishyamukha. She had been forcibly parted from her lord, but her mind was filled with his image, and this was evident from her grief. This was the woman for whom Rama was pinning away. Hanuman could see that she belonged only to Rama, and he was all hers. No one else had any right to try and influence her, least of all Ravana. Hanuman thought, Rama is meant for Sita, and she can belong to him and only him. This love is so strong that it has kept them both alive in spite of their terrible, unbearable separation. Indeed, Rama has achieved the impossible by being alive, though he is away from her. It is not an easy task. Only he can do it. No one can live even a day after being parted from a woman like her. Hanuman thought of Rama in his mind, and he prostrated before him mentally and said, Lord, I have found Sita. Lord, I have found Sita. Sundara Kanda. Jai Shri Hanuman. Jai Shri Sita Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. Om Shri Sita Ramarpanamastu. Chapter 5, Part 2 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda. Hanuman sees Sita. Apada Mahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Hanuman thought of Rama in his mind, and he prostrated before him mentally and said, Lord, I have found Sita. Hanuman was overcome with sadness at the sight of the princess who was sorrowing for her lord who was so far away. He thought to himself, fate is indeed very powerful. I realize it when I see this chaste and pure woman wasting away with sorrow. She was protected by none other than Rama and his valiant brother Lakshmana. Suited to be the wife of Rama in every way, this noble lady is made to suffer by fate. Because of his love for her, Rama killed Vali. Kanda, who was the equal of Ravana, was killed. She was rescued earlier from Viradha by these great heroes. In Janasthana, 14,000 Rakshasas were killed because Shurpanaka threatened this wife of Rama. Khara, Dushana and Trisharas were dispatched to the abode of Yama for her sake. It was to get her that Rama made Sugriva the king of Kishkinda. For her sake, I crossed the deep sea and came to Lanka. I now feel that it will not be a surprising action if Rama should turn the entire universe upside down for her sake. Nothing in these three worlds can equal the glory that is Sita. She is the devoted wife of Rama. Such a woman is the captive of a Rakshasa, and she is surrounded by these dreadful women, and she is not free even to weep. Because of her love for Rama, she gave up the comforts of the palace and walked with him in the Dandaka. She was happy and contented, and such a woman is now drowned in sorrow. Rama will not rest until he gets her back. Alone, unloved, uncared for, she is keeping her like for the sake of Rama, whom she hopes to meet sometime. She has no eyes for the beautiful garden where she is a captive. Her eyes are with her heart, and that is with Rama. My mind is filled with sadness and anger when I see this unhappy women. Patient as Mother Earth, Sita, who had been guarded by the noble princes, is now under the watchful eyes of Rakshasis. The season is Sharad, and the moon must be making her long for Rama. The season is sure to accentuate her sorrow and anguish. Hanuman was overcome with sorrow and pity for Sita, and he leaned back on the branches of the Simshupa tree and sat silent for a long while. Jai Shri Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Sita Mate. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Hanumat Jayantiya Subhashayam Manojavam Marathatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayutamukyam Shri Ramadutam Chirasaramami Shri Ramadutam Manasasmarami Shri Ramadutam Charanamaham Prabhadye. May Lord Hanuman make all our lives Sundara. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram. Om Shri Ramarpanamastu. Chapter 6 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda. The coming of Ravana. Apadamahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokaviramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam. The moon passed in procession attended by her starry retinue, and the night came to an end. Dawn was heralding its approach. From a distance, borne by the breeze, came to Hanuman the recital of the Vedas. Ravana woke up early in the morning. The first thought which came to his mind after waking up was the thought of Sita. He was impelled by his love for her, and he could not contain himself. Dressed in beautiful white silks and wearing ornaments which dispelled the darkness of the remaining night, Ravana hurried to the Ashokavana to have a glimpse of Sita. Like Indra is ever followed by a host of Apsaras, there were with Ravana a crowd of beautiful women. Some brought torches to light the way for the emperor, and others carried the chamaras and the other things which were meant to honor him. He walked purposeful towards the temple where Sita was seated. Hanuman heard the commotion caused by his arrival. He saw the torches lighting the way for the king, and he saw the many women, and with them came Ravana. He was magnificent. To Hanuman, he looked like Manmata, the god of love, who had not his bow with him. His garment was white as the froth on top of fresh milk, and it was thrown carelessly across his shoulders. Hiding himself carefully behind the leaves of tree, Hanuman looked at Ravana. Hanuman was watching Ravana carefully from the top of the Shimshupa tree. Ravana had been sleeping when Hanuman last saw him, and his presence was felt by Hanuman. There was power, glory, and greatness emanating from him, and Hanuman was unable to resist the charm he exuded. Ravana walked eagerly towards the spot where Sita was seated. Hearing the powerful strides approaching her, Sita knew that Ravana had come, and she trembled in fear and sheer terror. She tried to cover her thighs and breasts with her two hands, and she sat shrinking into herself, unable to bear the piercing looks of Ravana. She was like a forlorn branch of a tree, laden with flowers, but cut off from the mother tree. She sat on the bare ground and she looked like a lotus stalk covered with mire. Ravana spoke to her words which expressed his love for her. Ravana said, "Looking at me, you cover yourself and try to hide your beauty from my eyes. Wherever my eyes light, they see nothing but the beauty in you. You are so beautiful, I am certain there is no one like you. Honor my love and accept me. Do not be afraid of me. You think that my action is unrighteous, but it is well within the code of Rakshasas to take another man's wife as captive and even to force her to be his. Still, since my love for you is so intense, I do not wish to take you until you wish it yourself and on your own accord agree to become mine. Do not be afraid that I will force you. Trust me and try to love me. Do not persist in this sorrow. Your lovely hair is matted because of neglect. Your silk is dusty and soiled. You are killing yourself by starving thus, and you are not meant to sit on the ground. The ground does not befit your tender beauty. Accept my love. Dress yourself in lovely silks. Wear jewels and perfume yourself with sandal paste and incense. There are so many couches for you to use, and musicians are waiting to delight you with their art. Beautiful Sita, why is it you do not care for me and my attentions? Do you not know that youth is but short-lived, and like water which has overflown, it will never come back? There is no one to equal you in beauty. Brahma must have given up the task of creation after making the perfect woman, and that is you. Which man after seeing you will be able to think of anything else, even if it is Brahma himself? Your face is as beautiful as the moon, and my eyes cannot be satiated. Wherever I look, my eyes are arrested there. Whether it be your eyes or your face or your arms or your wide hips and your lips. Be my queen and you can rule over my entire Antapura. You will be my first queen and all the others will serve you as your handmaids. All the rare gems which I have collected from many places will be yours. I am a great warrior and there is no one to equal me. I have defeated the Devas and the Asuras again and again. Come, shed your grief and accept my love. Dress yourself in silks and gold and let my eyes feast themselves on you. This entire kingdom is yours to do what you will. You have seen me and my glory. Why do you still think of that Rama, dressed as he is in tree bark and deer skin? What can he give you? He has no wealth, no kingdom, nothing to speak of. He is wandering in the forest like a nomad, and lying on the ground he devotes himself to the observance of Vratas. He will never be able to see you anymore. You are like the moon hidden by dark clouds. He is unable to rescue you from my grasp. O Sita, what a beautiful woman you are. Lovely smile, lovely teeth, lovely eyes. You are made to fascinate and you have stolen my heart. Even in these soiled and dusty silk, with your sad eyes which refuse to look at me, I find that your attraction is such that I am not able to look at my other wives. Come to my Antapura and rule my other wives. My wives are all beautiful and they will serve you like the Apsaras who wait on Lakshmi. The wealth which I snatched from Kubera will all be yours if you become mine. Rama is not equal to me either in wealth or in valor or in fame, not in his tapas or in his prowess. He is not capable of competing with me in anything. Come, make my kingdom yours and accept my love. Let us walk hand in hand in these gardens and being my queen, You will be happier than you have ever been before. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Sita Mate. Jai Shri Hanuman. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Panamastu. Chapter 6, Part 2 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda, The Coming of Ravana, Part 2. Ramaya Ramabhudraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Sita was distressed by the words of Ravana. She had been listening silently, and with a tremor in her voice and with tears in her eyes, Sita picked up a wisp of straw from the ground and dropping it before her, she addressed it. It seemed to Ravana that she considered him to be as unimportant as that. She said, "Please give up this sinful thought. Go back to your people and leave me alone. You are not fit to have such thoughts about me. It is like a sinner aspiring to reach the heavens. I have been born in a noble house, and I have been married into a noble house too, and you are asking me to behave like a woman without morals." Sita had turned her face away from him and tried to convince him about the wrong path he was pursuing. She said, "Listen to me. I am the wife of another man, and it is not meant that you should think of me as your lawfully wedded wife. Protect the dharma which has been handed down by the elders. Follow in their footsteps and get a good name. Even as you protect your wife from the lustful looks of strangers, even so you should behave towards me. You have so many beautiful women who have entered your harem willingly. Be contented with them. Without any forethought, you are courting destruction. This act of yours does not bode any good for you. Have you no mentors in your court to tell you what is right and what is wrong? Have you, by any chance, been ignoring the righteous men? It seems to me it is so, since your behavior is against all codes of dharma. Or perhaps you have not listened to the words of the elders of your court. Because of the foolishness of the king, his land and his people will suffer. I can assure you this Lanka will soon be destroyed because of your sinfulness. You will be disliked so much that when you die, men will not mourn you, but instead they will rejoice over it. As for me, what you ask will never come to pass. Like the glowing spark of the sun and cannot be taken away from it, even so, I am part of Rama, and nothing can keep us apart. I have been his wife, and you ask me to touch you after having grasped his hand? Even now it is not too late. Take me back to my husband, and we will bless you and forgive you. Rama is a noble soul. He knows what dharma is, and it is well known that he is ever compassionate towards those who come to him for succor. If you cherish your life, make friendship with my Rama. Ask him yourself to forgive you and restore me to him. Thus, and only thus, can you avert the calamity which is threatening you. If Rama is angry, then nothing can save you. Perhaps the Vajra hurled by Indra can be withdrawn, or Yama may change his mind about the noose he has flung round the life he has planned to take. But Rama will not let you live. Soon you will be hearing the twang of his famed bow, and it will strike terror in the hearts of all. His arrows, spitting fire and poison, will be aimed at you and all your men. The entire city will be covered by his arrows, golden and fitted with the feathers of eagles. He will rescue me from you, and he will punish you by killing you. You were a thief, and you stole me from Janasthana when I was alone in the ashrama. If they had been present, you would not have dared even to look at me. Even if you tried to escape to the mountains in the realm of Kubera, or in the deeps with Varuna, or even with Indra in his Sabha, you are doomed and cannot escape the wrath of Rama. I am warning you. Jai Sri Sitaram. Jai Shri Hanuman. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulya Rama Nama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Panamastu. Chapter 6, Part 3 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda, The Coming of Ravana. Shri Ramaya Ramabhudraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Ravana refused to be impressed by the words of Sita. He sneered at Rama and said, "It is my love for you which is holding the reins of my mind and stopping my anger from bursting forth. It has been said that love makes a man compassionate towards the object of his love. It is true, or else, looking at you who still refuses to forget that powerless ascetic, I should let my anger get the better of me and kill you. You should be punished for every word you spoke, but I have forgiven you since you happen to be loved by me, and that to distraction." He was furious and was trying to control his anger. After a pause, he said, "I will give you 2 months to make up your mind. By then, make sure that you accept my love, or else I will ask the cooks in the royal kitchen to cut you up into little bits and take you for my morning meal." The women who had come with Ravana were feeling sorry for Sita. They did not dare to say anything, but by their expressions, they tried to comfort Sita and to show their sympathy. Sita was not frightened by the threats spoken by Ravana. She tried again to advise him against this unholy desire to make another man's wife respond to his advances. She was now more angry than before, and she spoke harshly. She said, "I have warned you, and yet you do not seem to realize that your death is imminent. How dare you ask me to be yours? I am the wife of the best of men. Only you will refuse to think so. Rama and I are inseparable like Indra and Shachi. Having entertained such thoughts in your minds, do you think you can escape death at the hands of my Lord? He is like a wild elephant which roams at will in the forest, and you are like a crawling hare by his side. You have the courage, the audacity to call my Rama a powerless ascetic, and yet you hope to escape death. You have set your eyes on me, and I am surprised that they still have not lost the power to see. Soon, very soon, you will be a handful of ashes. I could burn you up myself, and because of the power of my Pativrata, it is possible for me to do so. But then I am the slave of my husband, and without his permission, I cannot do anything on my own. You stole me from Rama, and that was done by you since the fates are against you, since you are doomed to die soon, or else you would not have invited death. You call yourself a hero who has defeated the Devas and Kubera, and yet when Rama was lured away from my side, you stole me and took me away by force. Is that the way a hero should behave? A hero indeed." Ravana's eyes were the color of the dawn which was fast reddening the east. He looked at her for a long time. He was very angry, and in a low voice he said, "Sita, you are foolish to persist in this love for a man who is full of a dharma, who has no wealth, and who is a tapaswin. I am at the end of my patience. I am going to kill you now." Ravana drew his sword from the scabbard and stood for a moment with his arms raised. He decided not to kill her, and looking at the Rakshasis around her, he said, "Remember, you have to obey me, all of you. Try all the many methods to make this stubborn woman bend to my will. Talk to her, coax her, threaten her, do anything so long as you succeed in your attempts." Dhanya Malini, one of the wives of Ravana, came there and she embraced Ravana with her arms around him. She spoke soft words to placate him and said, "Why do you waste your time with this Sita, who is a human being? She cannot make up her mind and she is making you so unhappy. She is making you angry too. Come with me and forget her. Brahma has not ordained that she should have the good fortune of lying in your arms." Ravana forgot his anger and he turned away from Sita to return to his palace. Ravana left her and there was a silence around Sita for a while. She sat with tears coursing down her face, and to Hanuman she seemed to be the most unhappy woman on earth. Jai Shri Sita Mate, Jai Shri Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulям Ramanama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Panamastu. Chapter 7 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda, a ray of hope. Apada Mahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokaviramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam. The Rakshasis began to harass Sita as commanded by their master. They spoke of the glory that was Ravana and tried to influence her. They spoke gently and then harshly, and then they tried to threaten her. Nothing would move her. She said, "Nothing will make me falter in my love for Rama. There is no use in your talk. You can kill me if you wish to, but you cannot make me change my mind." They persisted in their task and Hanuman was listening to everything. Sita was finding them too oppressive and wiping her eyes with her hands. She stood up and walked towards an Ashoka tree which was very near the Simshupa on which was seated Hanuman. The Rakshasis were now shouting at her and they talked among themselves that they could easily kill her, cut her up and eat her. Sita was disgusted with them and at the same time she was desperately unhappy. She sobbed as though her heart would break. She told herself, "Death will not approach man or woman until the appointed time which fate has decreed. Or else, how is it possible for me to be alive in the midst of these cruel and unfeeling Rakshasis and in the palace of this sinner, parted from my beloved Rama?" Sita was trembling in every limb, and it was pathetic to see her alone with her sorrow. She stood leaning against a branch of the tree and thought of Rama. She wailed, "Rama, Lakshmana, my beloved mothers in Ayodhya, I am caught here helpless like a boat tossed about in the stormy sea. The boat is about to sink. I am ready to die, but death has passed me by. I do not know where Rama is and I am still alive, parted as I am from my Lord who is like my very life to me. It is a wonder that I am able to live. I must have committed some great and dreadful sin in my previous birth, and this suffering is a punishment for me." Sita's grief was painful for Hanuman to watch, and still he sat quietly on the top of the Simshupa tree. When the Rakshasis were debating about killing Sita, a wise and good Rakshasa woman, Trijata by name, came to them and said, "Please do not talk like this. If you are hungry, you can eat me up. Sita is divine and she should not be touched. I had a dream and I will relate it to you. I saw Rama wearing a garland of white flowers and he was wearing white silks. He was seated in a vimana which was made of ivory and the chariot was drawn by a number of swans. Sita was also wearing white and she was with Rama like the glow is united to the sun. Rama was seated on an elephant with 4 tusks and with him was Lakshmana. They came to Sita riding on an elephant. Sita was placed on the elephant by Rama and I saw them flying in the sky. The elephant came and halted before our city. Rama came in a chariot drawn by 8 bulls. I then saw the entire world swallowed by Rama, and it was a fearful sight. In the midst of the milky ocean could be seen a white mountain rising to the surface. On its top was the elephant, and riding that elephant could be seen Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita. I saw Rama in another place. He was sitting on a rich and costly couch, and he was facing the east. He was being crowned by the rishis, and the devas were worshipping him. This Sita was seated by his side, dressed in pure white. To me, Rama appeared to be Lord Narayana. He was the Parabrahman. The heavenly host was around him, and divine music could be heard. I then saw Rama with Sita and his brother seated in the Vimana by name Pushpaka, and it travelled towards the north. I saw Ravana with oil smeared on his body, wearing red clothes and wearing a garland of Karavira flowers. He fell from the Pushpaka, and he now wore black garments, and he was being dragged by a woman. I saw him in a chariot drawn by donkeys, and it was going towards the south. He was drinking oil, and he was laughing loudly. Kumbhakarna too was seen by me sinking in a mire as Ravana did. The sons of the king were all seen by me. I saw Vibhishana with a white umbrella over his head, and he was wearing rich silks. He was crowned, and he went towards Rama seated on an elephant. I saw this city drowned in the sea. I also saw this Lanka, which is dear to Ravana, burnt by a monkey sent by Rama. According to what I have learnt about the language of the dreams, I do understand my dream to mean that Rama will kill Ravana and all his men. Rama will take Sita with him. Do not talk harshly to her. Be gentle with her, so that later, when Rama takes her back, she will remember to be kind to you and not punish you for your ill treatment. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Sita Mate. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Rama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Panamast. Chapter 7, Part 2 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda, a ray of hope. Shri Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Sita, in the meantime, was weeping to her heart's content. She had no more tears to shed, and she thought that she would kill herself. She knew that it would be futile to look for a sword or poison in that dreadful place, and coming near the branch of the tree, she clung to it and said, I will make a noose of this long hair of mine and hang from this branch. She stood near the tree and thought of her short life, which she had spent so happily and which was to have such a tragic end. And she paused, since some good omens visited her all of a sudden. Heartbroken, lonely, and extremely unhappy, Sita had reached the limit of endurance and had decided to end her life. Good omens made her pause in surprise. Her beautiful left eye throbbed suddenly, and it was the forerunner of good news. Her left shoulder, which was leaning on the tree branch, throbbed too, and along with her shoulder, her left thigh. They indicated that good was in store for her, and Sita stood as though she had been carved out of stone. She did not know how to understand the omens. Sunk as she was in the sea of despair, how was it possible for anything good to happen to her? Like a seed which had been left on the ground for a long time, suddenly sprouts tiny leaves. Even so, into the desolate heart of Sita entered a ray of hope. There was a semblance of wonderment in her face, and her tears did not fall anymore. Hanuman had heard the words of Trijata as she related her dream. He had seen all that was to be seen, and he had heard enough to know how much Sita was suffering. He thought, I wonder what I should do now. I have seen Sita and I have managed to elude the eyes of the many who guard the city. I have seen the entire city, and to a certain extent I know the strength of the fortress of Ravana. Now my immediate duty is to comfort this noble woman who is ready to lay down her life because of her love for Rama. This princess, who has never before known what suffering is, has been immersed in a sea of unhappiness, and I must hasten to comfort her with my words. If I go back without speaking these words to Sita, I am certain that no good will come of it. I must do it. I might go back to Rama and tell him that Sita is found, but in the meantime, she may, out of despair, end her life. And there is also this to be considered. Rama will not be satisfied with just the fact that I have seen Sita. I will have to tell him that I spoke to her and that I have been of some comfort to her. It is imperative that I should talk to her. How can it be done? I cannot tell her anything in the presence of the Rakshasis who are guarding her so jealously. The sun has not risen yet, and it seems to me she may kill herself before that. If Rama asks me, what message has Sita sent me? What am I to tell him if I do not talk to her? I should not hurry back after taking so much trouble to arrive in Lanka. Rama will be greatly disappointed if I go back without seeing her. He may burn me with his looks. Sugriva's arrival with his immense army will be of no use if Sita should end her life before that. I should abide my time and wait for a proper occasion when I can talk to Sita. I must watch the guards and see if I can accomplish my desire when they are careless. I am a small monkey. I am sure they will think me harmless enough. I will talk to her in a manner which will be pleasing to the ear. If I should talk in a faultless manner, she may have doubts about whether I am genuine or not. She may think that I am Ravana disguised as a monkey, but there is no other way of accosting her. I only fear that this gentle woman, who is so easily frightened, will be all the more scared if she sees me or hears me. She may scream without knowing that she has done so, and all my plans will go wrong. At once the Rakshasis will be alerted, and again I would have failed. They will try to surround me and to catch me. I will be able to scare them, and they will go to their king with the news that a stranger has entered the city. I will be rendered helpless then, and Sita will be ignorant of me and my message from Rama. I fear that she will either be eaten by the devils around her, or else she will kill herself. I can avert that only by talking to her. If I should be killed by the Rakshasas, the joint venture of Rama and Sugriva will never materialize. No one except me can cross the sea, and no one will know about Sita unless I go back with the good news. What should I do now? I must act after great deliberation. Even tasks which seem to be easy are apt to go wrong and get spoiled if they are entrusted to one who is inefficient. I should make certain as to what should be done and what should be avoided. If I think I am very clever, that arrogance is enough to ruin all the projects that have been thought up by us. My task has to be accomplished. I should use my power of thinking to the utmost. My leaping across the sea should not be a wasted effort. I must make her listen to my words. How am I to do it? Hanuman was pondering on the problem for a very long time until he came to a decision. He hit upon a method by which he could introduce himself to Sita without her being startled. He told himself, I will recount the great qualities of Rama, about whom she is thinking all the time. I will recite the glory of the house of the Ikshvakus, and while I recite them, her interest will be kindled, and slowly and very gradually she will cast off her fear and have faith in me and my words. The wise Hanuman thought that it was the best course to be adopted and began to act accordingly. Jai Shri Hanuman, Jai Shri Sita Mati, Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manurame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Manojavam Maratulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Bhadatmajam Vanarayutamukyam Shri Ramadutam Manasasmarami Shri Ramadutam Shirasaramami Shri Ramadutam Sharanamaham Prabhadye. Om Shri Ramarpanamast. Chapter 8 of Ramayana's Sundara Kanda. Hanuman meets Sita. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. The branches of the Simshupa tree on which Hanuman was seated were very near those of the Ashoka tree under which Sita was standing. All of a sudden, she heard some words which she had never heard there before. Hanuman had begun his recital. There was once a great king by name Dasharatha. He was a saint among kings and he was famed for his prowess and for his truthfulness. All the three worlds were aware of his might and his wealth. He was a Rajarshi and the king was like a Rishi because of his tapas. He was born in the rays of the sun and he was like Indra himself in glory, kind to everyone. The king was very noble and very compassionate towards all. He was a great king and he was greatly honored by men and gods alike. He had 4 sons, the eldest of whom is known by the name Rama. Rama was very dear to the king. Rama, with a face resembling the moon in its charm. Rama is a great archer and he is the best among men. He is the protector of Dharma and of his people. He is the dread of his enemies. Devoted to truth, this Rama, at the behest of his aged father, this hero among men, went to the forest Dandaka to live there, and he was accompanied by his wife and his brother. He donned the garb of a tapaswin and wandered in the Dandaka forest. Several Rakshasas were killed by him during his wanderings. In the Janasthana, he killed Kara, Dushana and Trisharas along with an army of 14,000 Rakshasas. This he did single-handed. When he heard about the destruction of his Janasthana, Ravana arranged to lure Rama away from the ashrama by the help of the appearance of a magic deer. When the brothers were away, Ravana entered the ashrama and carried away Sita, the beloved wife of Rama. When he saw that his wife had been stolen, Rama wandered around in search of her, and during his wanderings, he made friends with a monkey king by name Sugriva. This friend promised Rama that he would help him in his search for Sita. In return, Rama promised to establish Sugriva on the throne of Kishkinda. Accordingly, Rama killed the valiant Vali and gave his kingdom to his friend Sugriva. The monkeys are all servants of Sugriva and they have been sent in all the 4 directions to search for Sita. I am one of them. An eagle, Sampati by name, who is the brother of Jatayu, told me that Sita is in Lanka. I crossed the wide sea and landed in this city. Sita, who has been described to me by Rama, has been seen by me. Hanuman sat silent after this. Sita was overcome with wonder and amazement at this strange happening. She did not know whether it was a vision or a waking dream. She held her long twist of hair in one hand and the other was still clinging to the branch of the tree. Her face was half concealed by her dark hair falling on her forehead, and she raised it to look at the Simshupa tree from which the strange voice was heard. There was astonishment in that face and also fear. Her thoughts, her words, and her actions were all dedicated to Rama, and she looked around in fear lest someone else had heard the words which were like nectar to her. She saw that the Rakshasis had given her up as useless, and some of them had gone to Ravana to tell him about the futility of their attempts, and others had dozed off under the pillars of the temple where they stayed. May it be true, Sita told herself again and again, and she searched the denseness of the tree for a sign of life. Hanuman, who was wise and far seeing, was happy that he had thought of doing the right thing. He climbed to a branch which could be seen by her, and Sita saw on top of the Simshupa tree a small monkey clinging to the branch. He was wearing white, and he was the color of the bricks which were used for paving the walks in the garden. She was taken aback, and she looked again with fear in her eyes. His eyes were the color of liquid gold, and he was small and very attractive. He was seated humbly on the tree, and he seemed harmless. Still, doubts had assailed her mind, and she considered the arrival of the monkey as an evil omen. To her, his eyes seemed suddenly fearful, and she lost all her courage and began to weep helplessly, uttering the names of Rama and Lakshmana. She did not look at him again and thought it was all a dream. Hanuman knew exactly what her thoughts were. She had been frightened at the sight of a monkey, and for a moment her power of thinking had deserted her. She regained her power of thinking and told herself, "They say that it is an evil omen if a monkey appears in a dream. I can only pray that Rama with Lakshmana is well. I hope that no evil has befallen my father. But then I wonder now if this is a dream. Suffering as I am because of this sorrow of separation from Rama and the captivity in the garden of this wicked Rakshasa, it is not possible for me to have fallen asleep. Since it is not a dream, it must be a delusion, a hallucination. I am always repeating Rama's name and thinking of the many happenings in our life together in the past, and so it seems to me that someone else is repeating the story of Rama to me. It is not possible. It must be my mind which is deceiving me. What then of the monkey? I do see it, and it is not a fabric of my imagination. I surrender myself to the gods. May Indra, Brihaspati, Brahma, and Agni take pity on me and make the words of the monkey come true." Hanuman thought that the proper time had come when he could appear before her without startling her. He descended from the tree and prostrated before her. He placed his two hands high above his head and began talking to her. He said, "Lady, I see you wearing a soiled yellow silk like the light of the sun. Your eyes are like the petals of the lotus. You seem to me to be perfect. Who may you be standing so forlorn, clinging to the branch of a tree? Like water drops spilling out of twin lotuses, tears of pain seem to find a home in your eyes. Why? Are you a Gandharva woman, or a Naga Kanyake, or an Asuri, a Yaksha princess, or a Kinnari? You seem to me to be a divine woman. Are you the star Rohini, separated from her beloved moon? Your eyes are so beautiful, and they should not be sad. Who are your people? Why are you alone here? Since you are unhappy, since your feet are resting on the ground, since you sigh and weep, you cannot be a divine being. To my thinking, you are the queen of some kingdom. If, by chance, you are Sita, who was brought here forcibly by Ravana, then please listen to me. It is evident that you are Rama's queen. Your beauty is far superior to that of ordinary mortals. Your appearance is that of a tapaswin, and your mind has become so filled with suffering that I cannot see it in your eyes. You are Sita. There is no doubt about it." Sita heard the words of Hanuman, and still clinging to the bough of the tree, she spoke with a feeling of great elation and said, I am the daughter-in-law of the famous king Dasharatha. I am the daughter of Janaka, the king of Videha. They call me Sita. I am the wife of the noble Rama. I was very happy in the mansion of Rama, and I was a stranger to the word suffering. The king decided to crown Rama as the GURURAJA. But when the preparations were being made, Kaikeyi, the young mother of Rama, asked for the throne to be given to her son Bharata and wished that Rama should be sent to the Dandaka for 14 years. The king had to keep his word to her, and Rama considered the word of his father to be more precious than all the kingdoms of the world, and he agreed to go to the forest. He asked me to remain with his mother, but I refused to do so. I could not live without him and decided to accompany him. Lakshmana, who is devoted to Rama, also wished to be with Rama, and the three of us left the city Ayodhya that very day. We were happy in the forest, and while we were in the Dandaka, I was carried away by the wicked Rakshasa by name Ravana. I have lived in terror all these many months. I have been granted respite for 2 months more, and after that I will give up my life. I am certain of that. Jai Shri Ram. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane. Om Shri Ramar Padamastu.